All right, everyone. Thank you for joining or thank you for tuning in. Today we want to look at BAM, USD, Bambi, Memecoin. It's been shaking up the meme world, and I think that this project, I do have good hopes for this project. I don't know why. It is a meme coin at the end of the day. Anything can happen. It can go to zero, but it's been hanging around. It's been having some pretty intense pumps. And last time I made this video, price was right around here. So imagine if you were to take a long around here, you're looking at about a 90% gain if you caught the top, right? I mean, realistically, you probably sell somewhere around here. That's still 60%. And then since then, it came back down, hit support, which I drew out in this purple box. So if you joined in at any time in this zone, you might have caught this pump. If you got lucky, you got out at 106% gain. It's since then sold off a little bit and is now consolidating around this support zone. Now, this was a really weird support zone I drew out, which made more sense back here. It still makes sense, as you can see, price is reacting around it. But the next one to really keep an eye on in terms of selling would be at this level, right? Because as you can see, this was the last high that price basically went up to, failed, came down, and its swing failure to high even back tested it, right? Perfect double back test once, twice before selling off. Now it looks like it's going to try to make a run for it again. Just that little pump there is about 16%. Now, what do I think is going to happen? Personally, at this level right here, I wouldn't really do anything. If you're shorting, or if you have the ability to short, you want to wait for it to come back up and test these levels. A third time testing it though is not that great either, because the more levels tested, the weaker it gets. But at these highs, you do have a higher probability of price moving down. As you can see, it did that twice here, once again, and then that percent down was about a 25% gain that you could have possibly had if you had a perfect entry, perfect sell. So what do I think BAM will do here in the upcoming days? Let's go ahead and zoom out. Let's look at some of these levels. Right, as you can see, the green line is where price is at right now. This level here, which I drew before, if it does hold, this is basically your next major resistance, right? Let's go ahead and change this, extend right. This is really where I would say price is going to have a little bit of trouble getting above, and it would be a great place to look for a short entry or a great place to sell. You know, not financial advice, but if we can reclaim this level, might hit this, might even swing failure it, come back down, back test, you want to sell there before price moves lower. And then more than likely, if it moves lower, it might try to hold this level and, you know, dance in here a little bit, but more than likely it's going to come back down and find the next major support, which in my eyes actually looks like this red line. But if we're not exactly sure, what do? We go to the fixed range volume profile. I actually don't think that they have it here on Dex tools. I don't believe, oh, they do. Okay, perfect. Go ahead, drag that over. You'll see this is going to be the point of control. This is where most of the volume is traded. So worst case scenario, actually, price can just come right back down and hit this level, which would be a great area to enter another long, right? You had the chance here to do it once. You had the chance here to do it twice. If it comes down, you could possibly do it again. If it doesn't come down, the next best places to look for a long would be exactly where it just had a bounce, which is at this level, right? Which is technically also another support, as you can see. If we go ahead and zoom in, price came up, failed, impulse through, tried to find support at that level, failed it, back tested it in that area, tested it again, tried to break out, failed it. So this is definitely a resistance zone. and now a support. And remember, it's a zone, right? So if we go ahead and draw a box from here, oh wait 1 second, let's go ahead and draw a box from this level to this. Go ahead and pull that across. That's also another zone. So that's where I would be looking to possibly enter a long position. Make sure you use your tight stops, but if price comes here, touches it, fails this level, it's more than likely going to come back to test here before trying to move higher again. If this level fails, then yes, this would be the next best area to enter along, as you can see based on price action in the past. So you really just want to keep an eye out on these levels here. If you're watching me, you have your charts open, maybe redraw this on your end too as well. I would really focus on these levels, to be honest. The purple boxes, 1, 2, 3. Because remember, when price fails the value area high, it goes to the point of control. If it fails the point of control, it goes to the value area low. I haven't customized this chart yet, but let's see if we could enter that in. It should be here, actually, value area high and low. One second here. Where do we have this? Maybe it doesn't have it. Anyway, so what you want to do is make sure that with this chart that you see in front of you, you just kind of map this out, because these are your important levels. And as you can see, even as we're making this video, price is reacting quite well off this support zone. Came down, tapped it, and is now bouncing. Let's go back down to the lower time frames here. Yeah, and you can see price just looks like it wants to move a little bit higher, but I wouldn't even touch this unless you just have money that you'd like to throw into it and don't care what happens. I would really look forward to either touch this, get a short off these highs like I mentioned before, or wait for price to move above these levels, come back test the resistance as support, enter here, and then shoot for the moon, right? Shoot for the stars. Because as I marked out earlier, the next stop would be all the way up here, and you know meme coins move very, very quickly. So from this level to this next major resistance, that's a 300% gain, right? And when I say price moves very quickly, let's just go back and look at BAM really quick, right? Let's go up. I mean Memecoin. Let's just take a quick look. Memecoin has been moving like crazy. Look at that. The past few days, this is a clear example of how fast these coins move. That's a 200% gain. So when we go back to BAM, it's a clear example of how fast these coins can move. And look, price clearly got up here at one point. I wouldn't be surprised if it did get up here again. As of right now, this is the next major resistance after this one here, which is at 300%. If you want to go back to the top, you're talking a 10x, pretty much 9.5x. So there's a lot of room to grow with this project. Remember to use risk management, and if you want to get in now, you know, maybe you can still get a pump out of it. You could still scalp something, do whatever you want, but the key levels are marked on this chart. This is support, that is resistance. You only want to long at support or long at resistance, right? Even look at this on the hour, it stopped right there at this resistance level, came above it, failed it, reclaimed it, and is now moving higher. So not a terrible place to long if you can get it in over here, because get in a position down here, but look, that's about a 12% drop. to support. That's why I wouldn't really want to touch it. It's too far away. I wouldn't be comfortable entering it. Maybe wait for price to come down, set your alerts, whatever you want to do. But maybe you do want to enter and try to do a scalp long. If you do, it's still a 30% move to the next major resistance. All right, there's not much else to really say about BAM. It's doing quite well. You know, it's at support. It tested support. It was at support, tested support beautifully in my opinion, and is now pretty much off to the races. We have the levels mapped out. And look at this bullish engulfing candle. It looks like it's gonna go right for this resistance here. So like I said, play your ranges, right? This is pretty much a range right here. So you want to play that short, long, short, long, short, long. If price breaks above, you play for the next resistance, right? Price comes down lower. This is a range, might come up higher, but play your ranges. That's all I have for today. Thank you for joining. Like and subscribe. Join me on Twitter too as well, where I give out a lot of alpha. Like for instance, if you were following me, you would see that I did tweet about Blur, which did great. Collected about 10%, and Blur is still moving quite nicely. It might be going down now because of what Bitcoin's doing, but look at that price action, right? I am technically still in the trade, but now it's up 16%. So once again, guys, or ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining. I do appreciate you joining, and like and subscribe.